The ferry horn slices through the July heat as it nudges the dock. Layla Hart stands at the railing with a backpack on one shoulder and a shoebox hugged to her chest, knuckles white. Inside are sun-faded Polaroids, a blue-ribboned key, and her mother's looping handwriting on the lid. Summer rules. Salt air hits her like a memory. Up on the bluff, the white Hart house gleams above the beach, porch railings bright against the sky. It used to mean safety. Today it looks like a prize someone else plans to claim. She walks up the hill, pulse loud in her ears. Cars crowd the gravel drive, music floats from open windows, and a banner droops across the porch. Annual Summer Rules Challenge. Family only. Her grip tightens on the shoebox. Inside, the living room is packed with cousins and uncles. In the center stands her cousin Cole Hart, tanned, polished, sunglasses pushed onto his dark hair like a crown. He waves a stack of paper overhead. Perfect timing, he drawls. Little Layla made it. On the couch sits Ethan Bell, the ex-boyfriend who dumped her over text 3 months ago. His arm is draped around a girl in a white sundress. He wears the same lazy smile he used to turn on Layla when he wanted help with an assignment. "Hey, Layla," Ethan says. "You still get seasick on short trips? Brave of you to ride the ferry." A few cousins snicker. Layla sets the shoebox on the coffee table with more force than necessary and stares at the papers in Cole's hand. "What is this?" she demands. "And why is there a banner on Grandma's porch?" Cole's smile is all teeth. Family meeting. New stakes. This year's Summer Rules Challenge comes with a grand prize. He turns the document so everyone can see the bolded line at the top. Transfer of ownership, Hart Island residence. The winner gets the house, he announces. Full deed, full control. No more shared scheduling. No more arguing over repairs. One caretaker, like Grandpa wanted. Layla's chest tightens. That house is in the trust. It was Mom's too. You cannot just gamble it away. Actually, we can, Cole says. Grandma signed off. The board approved. Do you want to see the signatures? He taps the paper smugly. Layla looks toward the doorway. Grandma? Maggie Hart steps into the room with iced tea in hand. Her silver hair is pulled back, posture straight as a mast. I signed it, she says. This place needs someone who knows how to run it. The challenge will show us who that is. I have been working 2 campus jobs to stay in school, Layla snaps. I know responsibility. Making lats is not the same as negotiating contracts, Cole cuts in. This is grown-up work. Her jaw aches from clenching. Why now? Because the offers are coming in, he says. Developers, investors, people who understand potential. We decide before they do. Ethan strokes his new girlfriend's arm. Face it, Layla. You are sentimental. Cole is strategic. This place needs strategy. Old hurt flares hot and sharp. You knew, she says to Ethan. You knew this was about Mom's house and never said a word. He shrugs. It came up after we broke up. Do not make everything about you. Cole clears his throat. There is one small catch. To enter the challenge, you need a partner. 2-person teams. Physical rounds, puzzle rounds, survival rounds. Ethan has already joined me, obviously. He slings an arm around Ethan's shoulders. Which leaves you single, in more ways than one, Ethan adds. Laughter ripples again. Layla feels the room tilt. The rules on the page blur. If I do not find someone, she asks. You forfeit, Cole says. And the house defaults to me and Ethan. We will take good care of it. Promise. Her grandmother's expression is unreadable. If you want the house, Maggie says, show us. Play. The words slam into Layla harder than any insult. She grabs the key from the shoebox and closes her fist around it until the ribbon digs into her palm. Fine, she says, voice steadying. I will find a partner. She walks out before anyone can see her eyes shine. The ocean air outside is cooler. She takes the porch steps 2 at a time, then heads for the dock. Sunlight glitters on the bay. Kids shriek in the surf, gulls scream overhead, and a lone surfer cuts across a wave beyond the harbor. By the time she reaches the end of the dock, the surfer is paddling in. He swings a beaten board onto the planks in one easy motion. Water runs off his wetsuit, pooling around bare feet. His hair is dark and dripping, his jaw shadowed with stubble. Rough crowd up there, he says, heard shouting all the way out on the break. Layla squints. You were eavesdropping. Sound carries over water, he says. I was surfing. She recognizes him then, in pieces. A younger version helping her mom carry kayaks. A grin over a chipped mug of lemonade on this same dock. Jesse Morgan, she says slowly. The kid who used to fix our paddles for free. He smiles, surprised. You remembered. Mom paid you in leftover lobster rolls. Hard to forget. He drops down to sit on the dock, leaving a respectful gap. So, on a scale of 1 to total shipwreck, how bad is heart drama today? She lets out a bitter laugh. Iceberg dead ahead. Cole is using the challenge to hand himself the house. Grandma is letting him. My ex teamed up with him, and I need a partner by tomorrow morning, or I lose by default. Bad, Jessie says, but not impossible. She looks at him. At the board, the easy strength, the steady calm in his eyes. Desperation pushes past pride. Help me, she blurts. Be my teammate. Pretend to be my boyfriend if you have to. We win, I keep the house, and I will cut you in on rentals for the next 2 summers. His brows lift. You want a stranger to lie to your entire family, fight waves, and annoy your ex for you? You are not a stranger, she says. Mom trusted you. I trust her judgment. He studies her, expression turning serious. You really love that house. It is the last piece of her I have, she says quietly. I am not letting them turn it into a resort brochure. Something flickers across his face at the mention of her mother. He looks toward the bluff, then back at her. One correction, he says. If I do this, I am not your fake anything. I am your partner. That means I am in all the way. No half lies. Her heart skips. Does that mean yes? He holds out his hand. Deal, he says. We take back your house. His grip is warm and solid. The ferry horn sounds again in the distance. Layla hears it like a starting gun. The game has begun. By 8 the next morning, the beach is a mess of tents, coolers, and relatives in sun hats shouting over one another. A flagpole planted in the sand marks the finish line. Judges with clipboards stand under a striped umbrella, trying to look official. Layla and Jessie stand shoulder to shoulder near the front, their team number pinned crookedly to their shirts. He wears faded board shorts and a navy t-shirt, hair still damp. She has braided her hair back and tied on a baseball cap. You ready? He asks. No, she says. But that never stopped me before. Grandma Maggie raises a megaphone. First round, she announces. Treasure hunt. Each team receives a map. Somewhere on the island, an object marked with the heart crest is hidden. First team to bring it back earns 10 points. An uncle passes rolled maps down the line. When Layla takes theirs, the paper feels oddly new between her fingers. Maggie's gaze flickers to her for a fraction of a second. There is something like apology there before it disappears. 3 hours, she calls. No cars, no boats. Any cheating will be investigated. Begin. Whistles blow. Teams scatter. Layla and Jessie duck behind a dune and unroll their map. It shows the island in simple lines. A big red X sits in the middle of nowhere. This is wrong, Jessie says immediately. You looked at it for 2 seconds. I have walked this island since I could walk, he says. There is nothing at that X except scrub and ticks. Your grandfather liked drama, but he liked logic more. He flips the map over. The back is blank. He holds it up to the light. No watermark, no crest. Paper is new, he mutters. Ink too. If this were your grandfather's original map, there would be a seal here. You think Cole swapped it, she says. I think he is scared of losing, Jessie replies. Scared people rig games. He folds the map and shoves it in his pocket. The real clue is somewhere else. Where would your mom have hidden it? Layla's throat tightens. Boathouse. 5 minutes later they are in the dim, salt-scented building at the water's edge. Sun squeezes through dusty windows and thin beams. Ropes hang in coils, old life jackets sag on hooks. She used to hide chocolate under the kayak racks, Layla says. Cole would cry when she found it first. Then we start there, Jessie says. They split up, checking under benches and behind crates. Layla runs her hands along the underside of the rack until her fingers tap a loose board. Her heart kicks. Help me pry this up, she says. Together they pull the board free. Inside lies a small metal tin streaked with dust. On the lid, in faded paint, are 2 words. Summer rules. Layla's breath catches. She opens the tin. Inside is a photograph folded in half. The edges are soft, as if it has been handled many times. She unfolds it carefully. Her grandparents stand in front of a stone wall by the sea, hands linked, grinning at each other. On the back, in her mother's looping script, is a single line. Where the island first kisses the sea, that is where the heart will be. Kissing rocks, she whispers. North Cove. Jessie flashes a quick grin. Then let us move. The path to the North Cove winds through pines and over rocks. Sunlight flickers overhead. Layla's lungs burn, but adrenaline keeps her going. Jessie runs beside her, pace steady. You know she left this for you, right? He says between breaths. Feels a lot like she left it for you too, she mutters. They reach the cliff above the cove and scramble down the narrow trail. Below, 2 tall rocks lean toward each other in the surf, water foaming between them with every wave. Kissing rocks. They split up again, scanning the stone for the heart crest. Layla's fingers brush over rough surface, then catch on a shallow carving. Here, she calls. Beneath the crest, in a small hollow, something metal glints. Jesse carefully pries it out. It is a silver token shaped like the island, the heart crest etched in the center. Got you, he says. They sprint back through the trees. By the time the beach comes into view, other teams are wandering aimlessly, their maps flapping in the wind. Cole and Ethan stand near the flagpole empty-handed but smirking, as if they know it will fall into their laps. Layla runs straight to the judges and slaps the token into one's palm. He lifts it high. Team Hart and Morgan, he calls. First to return with the correct object. 10 points. A wave of voices crashes around them. Surprise. Admiration. A few annoyed groans. Cole's face twists. You cheated. How? Jesse asks. We followed the clue. What clue? Ethan demands. All the maps lead to the same spot. Yours, maybe, Jesse says. He pulls their map from his pocket and holds it up. New paper. No seal. No crest. Whoever gave you those wanted you chasing shadows while we followed the real trail. He does not name Cole. He does not have to. Several cousins glance at him anyway. Layla meets her cousin's eyes. You gave yourself an advantage and still lost, she says. Rough day. Maggie lifts a hand for silence. We will review the maps after the round, she says. For now, the results stand. She looks at Layla for a heartbeat, pride hidden in the tight line of her mouth. One round down, Jesse murmurs as they step away. 2 to go. Cole will hit harder next time, Layla says. Then we hit smarter, he answers. For the first time since she stepped off the ferry, hope flares in her chest. 2 days later, the bay is alive with color. For sailboats bob at the starting line. Hulls painted in bright blues and greens. Flags snap in a steady breeze. Family members crowd the dock, phones ready. Layla runs her hand along the worn wood of their assigned boat. It is not the newest, but it is sturdy. Jesse moves efficiently, checking lines and knots. You ever done this? He asks. Sailed, she says. A little, when Mom was feeling brave and the weather behaved. Good enough, he says. You steer. I will handle the rest. Her eyes widen. That sounds like a bad plan. You will do fine, he says. You are good at reading people. Wind is just a mood swing with direction. She snorts. Across the dock, Cole and Ethan stand beside a sleek, glossy boat with Summer King stenciled on the side. Their life jackets match, so do their smug expressions. Nice antique, Ethan calls. Does it float on its own, or do you have to beg? It has more personality than you, Layla replies. A few teens nearby laugh. Ethan's mouth tightens. Grandma Maggie climbs onto a crate with a whistle. Second round, she announces. Sailing. 1 loop around the bay. First to cross the line earns 10 points. Dangerous maneuvers will result in penalties. She meets Layla's eyes for a beat, as if to say be careful. Layla climbs into the boat. The wood shifts under her feet. Jesse hops in behind her, movements sure. He hands her the tiller. Feel the wind on your face, he says quietly. Let it tell you where it wants the sail. Is that how you flirt? She mutters. He grins. Sometimes. The whistle shrills. Sails fill with a crack. Boats leap forward. At first they keep pace. Jesse calls instructions over the slap of water. Layla adjusts, hands sweating on the tiller. Ahead, Cole's boat creeps into the lead, Ethan moving with surprising skill. As they round the first buoy, something changes. The boat drags, just slightly, enough to make them lose inches. Do you feel that? She calls. Jesse frowns. Something is wrong. He leans over the side and curses. When he hauls up the stern line, a waterlogged canvas bag emerges, tied to the rope with fresh knots. Someone added extra weight, he says. It was not there at launch, Layla says. Cole's laughter floats across the water. Problems? Rage spikes hot. Cut it, she says. Jesse pulls a knife from his belt and slices the rope. The bag drops, disappearing into the blue. Now we are free, he says. Push her. The boat surges as the drag vanishes. Layla adjusts the tiller, trusting the pull of the wind and Jesse's shouted cues. They slip past one team, then another. There is a tight line near the rocks by the east point, Jesse calls. Risky, but if we take it, we get a burst. Will we die? She yells. Probably not, he says. Maybe bruised pride. She laughs despite herself. Then let us try. They angle toward the rocks. The water is rougher here, waves slamming into stone. Spray drenches them. The hull schemes close to danger. Steady, Jesse says. Right there. Do not flinch. She holds the course. For a heartbeat, it feels like they will crash. Then they burst past the rocks, catching clean wind on the far side. The boat jumps forward. They pass Cole's bow by a narrow margin. Ethan swears. Layla does not look back. The finish line races toward them. The dock, the flag, the knot of family members waving and shouting. They cross first. The horn blasts. The dock erupts in cheers. Layla's breath comes in ragged gasps. Every muscle shakes. You did it, Jesse says, grinning. Without thinking, he braces a hand on her back and presses a quick kiss to her forehead. You were perfect. The world tilts for a different reason. Heat floods her face. For a second she forgets this is supposed to be an act. Cole's boat crosses moments later. He jumps out, rope still in his hands. They cut equipment mid-race, he shouts. That is cheating. We cut loose a bag that should not have been there, Jesse replies, climbing onto the dock. Someone tied it on to slow us down. Prove it, Ethan says. You could have planted it yourself. I took pictures before launch, Jesse says. He pulls his phone from a waterproof pouch and taps the screen. The image shows Ethan's boat at the dock earlier that morning. A canvas bag sits on their deck, the same size and color as the one Jesse cut loose. Funny how that matches, Jesse says. Murmurs swell. A couple of cousins exchange looks. Cheating in a heart challenge is bad enough. Getting caught is worse. Maggie takes the phone, inspects the picture, then gives it back. We will look into it, she says. For now, the race stands. 10 points to Hart and Morgan. 7 to Cole and Ethan. Cole looks like he might explode. As the crowd breaks apart, Ethan corners Layla near the boathouse. You think this changes anything, he demands. You are still the girl who hides on the stairwell when things get ugly. Not anymore, she says. Her voice is calm, surprising even herself. I am the girl who sails past you. His jaw clenches. Go home, Ethan, she adds. Pick someone else to hang on to. Jesse appears at her side, quiet but solid. Ethan's eyes flick between them. Something bitter curls his lip. You two deserve each other, he says, then stalks away. You okay? Jesse asks. Not even close, she says. But getting there. They stand together on the dock, watching waves slap the pilings. 2 rounds down, 1 left. And somewhere between the boat, the dock, and that forward kiss, their pretend had started feeling dangerously real. The Hart family dinner has never felt more like a trial. Candles flicker on the long table. Silverware glints. Outside, the ocean hushes against the bluff. Inside, tension hums like a live wire. Layla sits midway down the table, Jesse on her right, Maggie at the head. Cole and Ethan sit opposite, whispering in tight, angry bursts. And Aunt smiles too brightly. Our Layla brought home quite a partner, she coos. Strong arms, polite yes ma'am, helpful with the grill. Keep this one. He is not a stray dog, Layla says. Could have fooled me, one uncle jokes. Island boy, half in the water, half in the shed. Jesse replies pleasantly, and yet somehow I still manage to set the table. Cole leans back in his chair, smirking. Relax. If the challenge does not work out, you can always hire him as staff. I hear he is handy with boats and broken hearts. Layla's fork digs into her hand. Maggie taps her spoon against her glass. The chatter dies. Tomorrow is the final round, she says. Before that, we speak plainly. The challenge is about responsibility, not just winning. Tonight, each contender will state their intentions for the house. All eyes swing to Cole. He stands, adjusting his collar like he is about to pitch a startup. Fine, he says. You wanted honesty. I will give it. This house is an asset, and right now, it is a lazy one. It sits empty most of the year, and bleeds maintenance costs. I have investors ready to turn it into a boutique resort. 12 rooms, private beach access, curated experiences. We bring in jobs, tourism, real money. The family gets guaranteed profit instead of nostalgia. A murmur runs around the table. Some faces are interested, some uneasy. And the locals? Jesse asks. Where do they fit in your curated experience? They get jobs, Cole says. Better than scraping by on seasonal work and fish. And the dunes? Layla asks. The cove. The sunsets where you can hear yourself think because there are not 50 strangers screaming into their phones. What happens to those? Cole shrugs. You cannot stop change. You ride it. Maggie looks tired. And you, Layla, she asks. Layla stands, palms damp. I would keep it a family house, she says. But open the doors wider. Use short-term rentals to pay for repairs and taxes. Choose guests who actually respect the place. Use a couple weeks every summer for kids in town who have never stayed overnight at the beach. Let cousins who cannot afford vacations bring their families. Keep control in our hands instead of some corporations. Cole snorts. That is cute. And dangerously naive. Maybe, she says. But at least it is not built on traps and vags tied to boats. He goes rigid. Maggie turns to Jessie. And you, Jessie Morgan? You are not a heart by blood, but you are in this up to your neck. Why? Silence falls. Jessie stands slowly. For once there is no joking curve to his mouth. He rests his hands lightly on the back of his chair. My father almost lost his boat when I was 16, he says. Engine blew, bills piled up, the bank stopped taking his calls. We were one bad storm from losing everything. Your daughter, Martha, did not like that. Layla's heart stutters. She hired him to run tours for the house guests, Jessie continues. Paid him a fair wage, not what she could have gotten away with. She let us park our rust bucket truck by the boathouse when the bank tried to repo it. When the dock needed repairs, she wrote the check and worked beside us with blisters on her hands. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small silver pendant on a chain. The heart crest catches the candlelight. She taught me to read tides, to fix rot, to listen more than I speak, he says. The night before she went into the hospital for the last time, she called me to the porch. She said if this family ever turned the house into a prize, or a product, she wanted someone on the island who would not let that happen. She asked me to watch this place and her kid. He sets the pendant gently on the table between himself and Layla. It matches the one in her shoebox upstairs. I promised, he finishes simply. So when I heard about this challenge, I came. Layla's eyes burn. You knew, she whispers. All this time. You knew her after I left for school. You talked to her when I did not. I did not take your place, he says quietly. She never stopped talking about you. She just knew you had enough weight on your shoulders already. She did not want to add this one until you chose it yourself. You should have told me, she says. Instead I found out in front of everyone like the last one let in on a joke. You are right, he says. I am sorry. Cole stands so fast his chair scrapes. This is ridiculous, he snaps. You parade some charity case in here, and act like that makes him family. He is using you. Using Martha's memory. Using this island. Jessie's jaw tightens. I do not need your name to care about this place. And I do not need your approval to make it profitable, Cole shoots back. You all want to pretend we can live on campfire stories? Grow up. Investors do not care about your feelings. They care about contracts. I am the only one at this table willing to do what it takes. What you are willing to do is hurt people, Layla says. You set traps in the woods. You tied weights to boats. You risked other people's bodies so you could look like a winner. Enough, Maggie says, voice sharp. No, Layla says. Not enough. You revived Grandpa's harsh rules. You watched Cole twist them into something uglier. You handed him a loaded game and acted surprised when he pulled the trigger. Maggie flinches as if struck. For a moment the old iron in her softens. I thought the challenge would reveal who deserved this place, she says quietly. I did not realize it would reveal how much we had already lost. She looks at each of them in turn. One more round, she says. Tomorrow we finish what we started. After that, we are done with games. We make real choices. Her voice leaves no room for argument. The dinner splinters into smaller conversations. People drift away, plates half full. Later, on the porch, Layla holds the pendant up between her fingers. The metal is warm from all the hands that have touched it. I am still mad you did not tell me, she says to Jessie. I know, he says. I will stay here until you are done being mad. Careful, she says. That might take a while. I am not going anywhere, he replies. It is the first promise between them that has nothing to do with house deeds or challenges. Morning fog wraps the trees in soft gray as teams gather at the forest edge for the final round. Backpack straps creak. Boots shift in damp soil. The air smells of pine and nerves. Survival course, a judge announces. Navigate to 3 supply caches, then reach the cliff checkpoint before sundown. Any team that fails to arrive is disqualified. Layla and Jessie shoulder their packs. Cole and Ethan stand not far away, whispering fiercely. Ethan looks drawn. Cole looks feral. Watch the ground, Jessie murmurs as they step into the trees. If he laid traps for a boat, he will lay them here. Within 15 minutes, his warning proves right. A nearly invisible cord stretches across the path at ankle height. Above, rocks balance on a weighted branch. Step wrong and you get a concussion, Jessie mutters. They step around it. A little farther on, they spot a shallow pit covered with leaves, then a swinging branch rigged to hit chest height. Subtle, Layla says, in a cartoon villain way. At the first cache, they find water, a compass, and a flare. As they pack up, they hear raised voices through the trees. Cole, this is insane, Ethan hisses. You could have gotten Ryan's leg broken. He should have watched where he was going, Cole snaps. This is a test, not summer camp. It is sabotage, Ethan says. Maggie is not stupid. She is already suspicious. She needs me, Cole says, voice harsh. Investors need someone with the family name. I did not ask to be the son of a screw-up. I am not going back to being the punchline at every Christmas party. You do not fix that by turning the woods into a minefield, Ethan says. Leaves rustle as they move away. Jesse gives Layla a look. We have our motive, he says. We just need him to admit it where everyone can hear. And we need to finish the course alive, Layla says. They move faster, alert to cords and disturbed patches of earth. They cross a dry creek bed, scramble up the opposite bank, and find the second cache by a lightning-scarred tree. Inside is a short note in Maggie's hand. The island's heart shows when the games stop. Layla reads it twice. She is giving us a chance, she says. To do what? Jesse asks. Win, or break the rules. Both, Layla says slowly. We get to the cliff first. We fire the flare. We tell the truth in front of everyone. We stop letting him decide what counts as playing. He smiles, fierce and proud. I like this version of the game. They push on. The trail steepens. Their shirts cling with sweat. At one point, Layla slips. Jesse's hand catches her elbow before she goes down. You okay? He asks. Fine, she pants. Just did not negotiate properly with gravity. They reach the cliff edge with time to spare. Below, the ocean hammers rock. Above, goals circle. The checkpoint box is bolted to a post. Inside lies another flare gun. This is it, Layla says. You ready? I was ready the day you showed up on that dock, he says. She fires the flare into the sky. It explodes in a burst of red, visible from beach, bluff, and forest. Judges arrive first, panting. Maggie follows, leaning on her walking stick, hair pulled back in a no-nonsense knot. You made good time, she says. You might want to save your breath if an argument is coming. You know it is, Layla says. Cole and Ethan emerge from the trees 10 minutes later, scratched and sweating. Cole sees Layla and goes rigid. Of course, he says. Of course you got here first. Because we watched for your traps, she says. The trip wires. The pits. The swinging branch that nailed Ryan's shin. He shrugs. It is a survival course. I made it harder. You should be thanking me for the extra training. Is that what you call tying weights to boats? Jesse asks. Extra training? Cole's nostrils flare. You cut that bag yourself. After you put it there, Jesse says. We have photos. We have witnesses to your little art projects in the trees. And we heard you brag about doing whatever it takes. Maggie's gaze is ice. Is it true? She asks. Do not pretend you are shocked, Cole snaps. You wanted a contest that proved who deserved this place. I am the only one taking it seriously. By hurting people, Layla says. By turning Mom's Island into a blueprint for how to break ankles. Spare me the speech, Cole says. You think Martha never broke rules? She would have understood. She knew what it meant to fight for something. She did, Jesse says quietly. That is why she asked me to protect this place from exactly this. Cole laughs without humor. Oh right. The fisherman's son with the inherited halo. You are not one of us, Morgan. You are convenient. I do not need your name to know right from wrong, Jesse says. And I do not need your approval to get out from under Dad's shadow, Cole snaps. You all act like I am one bad bet away from ruining everything. This resort deal finally gives me power. I will not let some sob story and island crush take it away. Ethan shifts uneasily. Cole. Shut up, Cole says. You chose my side. Own it. That was before you nearly knocked Ryan into a ravine, Ethan says. His voice cracks. I am out. Do whatever you want, but do not drag me down with you. You are already down, Layla says. You knew. You helped. You stayed quiet. He drops his gaze. Maggie straightens slowly. Enough, she says. Cole Hart, you are disqualified for dangerous sabotage and cheating. Your points are void. Ethan Bell, you are barred from benefiting from this contest in any way. Go back to the house. We will talk later. Cole stares at her, stunned. You cannot do that. Yes, I can, she says. I started this game. I can end it. He looks at Layla with pure venom. You think you won, he says. Enjoy babysitting a rotting house and a bunch of entitled cousins. You will drown in this place. He pushes past them and stomps down the trail. Ethan follows at a distance. The forest feels quieter when they are gone. Maggie looks at Layla and Jesse. The wind tugs at her dress, at Layla's hair, at the flare smoke drifting away. You two won the challenge, she says. But the prize has changed. Layla's fingers curl around the pendant in her pocket. What does that mean? She asks. It means the deed does not become a trophy, Maggie says. The house goes into a new trust. No one can sell or gut it without unanimous family approval. But every trust needs caretakers. People who live with the consequences. She takes a breath. I want those names to be yours, she says. Layla Hart, Jesse Morgan. One anchored in the family. One anchored in the island. Together you might do what neither side has managed alone. Layla's eyes sting. You are sure? I am old, Maggie says. I am tired. And I am done pretending contracts matter more than people. Your mother tried for years to change the rules. I fought her on it. She was right. I was wrong. Her voice wobbles. Better late than never. Jesse's hand finds Layla's, fingers locking through hers. We will take care of it, he says. And the people around it. We will not turn it into a resort, Layla adds. I know, Maggie says. That is why you are getting the keys. For the first time in weeks, Layla's lungs fill all the way. They did not just win a game. They broke it and built something better from the pieces. By the time August rolls around, the Hart house feels different. Some changes are obvious. The cracked porch step is repaired. The roof no longer leaks over the upstairs hallway. The peeling blue shutters are repainted a softer shade that Jesse insists is called sea glass and Layla insists is called not depressing. Other changes are slower, quieter. The guest room that used to stay locked is now open to cousins who cannot afford hotel rooms. The big table on the back lawn is set more often for barbecues that include fishermen, shop owners, and kids from town who used to stare at the house like it was off limits. On the fridge, an old menu from the island diner has been turned into a list written in 3 different handwritings. Summer Rules, version 2. 1. No selling the island house to people who call it real estate. 2. Everyone does dishes, famous or not. 3. 1 campfire story per night. Embarrassing is better. 4. Respect the ocean. No glass on the sand. No turning your back on waves. 5. Feelings are not against the rules. 6. Nobody wins alone. 7. Family is chosen as much as it is born. Mom would have added something about sunscreen, Layla says, reading the list for the 10th time. She would have underlined the dishes 1, Maggie says. She hated sticky plates. Maggie has stopped sitting at the head of the table for every meal. Sometimes she takes the middle, listening more than she talks. Sometimes she disappears onto the porch with a book, letting younger voices fill the house. Cole does not come back that summer. Ethan sends one more apology by text. Layla leaves it on read. Some doors take time to close, others drift shut on their own. There are new faces too. A single mom and her 2 kids crowdfunding their first vacation. A retired teacher who spends 3 afternoons in a row sketching the cove. A group of local teenagers earning extra money cleaning rooms and learning to sail. Jesse takes the teens out on the water, teaching them to read Wind the way he once taught Layla. She watches from the dock, heart swelling when one girl stands at the tiller and whoops as the boat catches a perfect gust. At night, when the guests' windows glow and the beach fire burns low, Layla and Jesse claim their own corner of the porch. Tell me a New York story, he says, head tipped back, feet on the railing. She tells him about cramped subways and street food, about snow that turns to gray sludge and rooftop parties on summer nights. He tells her about winter storms that rearrange the shoreline and about the way the island feels when the tourists vanish and the sky goes iron gray. Do you miss the city? He asks. Sometimes, she says. I miss anonymity, noise, feeling like anything could happen. And now, he asks. She looks at the yard, at cousins laughing in the half-dark, at the path leading down to the beach, where a lantern swings from a hook. Now anything does happen, she says. It just starts here instead of 3 subway lines away. They fall into a rhythm. Spring in the city while Layla finishes classes and Jesse takes on odd jobs in harbors up and down the coast. Summer on the island, repairing, hosting, teaching. Autumn split between both, figuring out how to be caretakers without losing themselves. They argue sometimes, about guest lists, about budgets, about how many nights they can give away for free without sinking. You cannot feed everyone, Jesse says one night, exasperated. Watch me, she says, equally stubborn. They cool off, talk it through, adjust the rules. No more contracts written in stone. Every line is allowed to be revisited. On the last night of that first summer under the new rules, Layla carries her mother's shoebox down to the beach. The lid is soft from years of being opened and closed. Around the fire sit Maggie, a handful of cousins, a couple of locals who have become something more than neighbors. Jessie sits beside her, bare feet buried in cool sand. Story time, she says, lifting the lid. They pass the photos around. Layla holds up the one of her younger self missing front teeth, holding a bucket of shells. Mom made me put half these back, she says. She said the ocean would miss them. I thought she was being dramatic. Now I get it. She passes the photo on, then picks up one of Martha laughing on the porch, wet hair dripping, sunscreen streaked on her nose. She took this house and turned it into something softer, Layla says. Grandpa built walls and rules. She built space between them where people could breathe. I thought if I lost the house, I would lose her too. Then this summer happened. She looks around the circle. At Jesse, firelight flickering across his face. At Maggie, eyes shiny but proud. At a little boy curled asleep on a beach towel clutching a shell. She is not just in the floorboards and the door frames, Layla says. She is in the way we choose people over profit. In the kids learning to swim here for the first time. In every new rule we write that puts kindness first. Her voice wobbles, she does not try to hide it. Thank you, Maggie says quietly, for reminding me what she was trying to teach us. The fire burns lower. Stars punch through the dark. One by one, people drift away toward beds and porches and late-night snacks. Eventually only Layla and Jessie remain by the glowing coals. Do you ever think about the version where you said no on the dock, she asks, toes tracing patterns in the sand. All the time, he says. I think you might have lost the house. Or won and burned out. Or found someone else to stand beside you who did not know what your mother asked of me. Any version where we ended up here, she asks. He smiles. Probably not. Then I am glad you said yes, she says. Me too, he replies. He reaches for her, hand settling at the back of her neck. The kiss is slow and sure, the opposite of the quick showy ones from the races. It tastes like smoke and salt, and something that feels suspiciously like peace. When they break apart, she rests her forehead against his. New rule, she murmurs. We keep doing that. I can live with that, he says. Up on the bluff, the house glows against the sky, not as a trophy or a target, but as a living, changing thing. The old rules that turned it into a weapon lie broken at the bottom of the metaphorical cliff. The ones they're writing now are messy, kinder, and written in ink that can be crossed out and rewritten. As the tide rolls in and wipes away the day's footprints, Layla Hart knows she got more than a deed out of this summer. She got a partner. She got a family that is learning how to bend instead of break. She got a chance to choose which rules matter. Some deserve to shatter. The ones they make together are the only ones she plans to keep.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.